and welcome to my humble abode. It is time to talk about art. So today we are talking about that feeling you get when you don't know if you should push through or quit. If it's time for you to just pivot, try something else and change. And I'm gonna spoil the ending for you right now because I have a non-traditional answer to this question. This concept of, oh, I just gotta push through, or oh my gosh, should I just give up? Should I just quit? This can be solved just with you deciding who the heck you are, what the heck you want with your life. Screw what anybody else says. What do you want with your life? What are the things that you want to do? So if you're a creative person, I'm telling you, like, this is true for me and it could be true for you too, but I will never, ever, ever feel fulfilled in my life if I am not making the art that I want to make. And so it doesn't matter if it sells today or not. I want to make it. So a better solution to should I just push through and give up is, what the heck do you want? Do you want to sit in a cubicle or do you want to make your art? And sometimes you got to do both for a little bit, and that's okay. So I'm filming this as the sun is starting to rise, so the lighting is probably going to change in a minute because I'm going to put the intro at the beginning, but So the other week I posted a poll and I asked you guys to vote on some video topics, and you know, I got some votes. Votes happened. But what I found very interesting is someone left this comment, and I had a video planned to go out today, and I feel like this comment ties in with it extremely, extremely well. Today I was going to do an audit of my most recent painting drop, and it didn't go the way that I expected it to, and this comment is all about, here, I'll just read it to you. I had several video topics. One of them was signs it's time to move on. And this person commented, they said, I voted for that last one because I've talked to a few artist friends as well, and they said they feel like they're wasting time, even with years under their belt, and they don't know if they should push through, pivot, or quit. Not a lot of videos for artists talk about this. It's only for like corporate and startup and business stuff. So let's talk about this for a second. How do you know if you should quit when you're an artist? So I have perhaps a non-traditional response to this question because most people might expect the answer to this question to be, well, when your art is not good enough, when you're not good at marketing, blah, blah, blah. They would insert when blank is not good enough, that's an indicator that you should quit. So my response to this question is if you are feeling like you're pushing through, to me that's an indicator that you have not set up your environment correctly to allow you to flourish even when sales aren't coming in. Even when art business is not art business in the way that you would want it to. You should have systems in place for you personally, for you to get good at handling failure, disappointment, when things don't go right, because it'll happen to everybody. It'll happen to everyone, my dear friend. And the most successful people that you see in your life, they are not the people who just have it all handed to them, who are just lucky, who are more skilled than you. They're not more skilled than you. They're not more talented than you either. They just got really, really good at rolling with the punches, at not letting failure mean anything about them. So let me tell you what I mean by this. When I read this comment, I first thought to myself, have I ever felt like I'm pushing through? And yes and no, because there have been, this has been a long journey, right? I have spent, at this point, about 2 years building up my art business, and I'm still at probably part-time income. My income is not where I want it to be yet, but I'm having fun building it. And so when I think about the concept of pushing through, I would argue I even felt extremely happy and fulfilled a year ago when I was making $0 sales months. I felt happy because I spent so many years giving myself to somebody else and doing, living someone else's life. It felt like I was living a character's life for somebody else. And so when I showed up at art markets, made $0 in sales, I just felt this light. I just felt happy because at least I was doing what I wanted. And so when you are feeling like, oh, should I push through? Should I give up? You have to ask yourself, what is the life that I want? And if giving up doesn't give you that life that you want, then you don't do it. So there might be some cases where the life you think you are walking towards is the life that you want, but it's not really. So here's an example of that. I once thought that I wanted to be a fine artist, like a fine art oil painter, a figure painter specifically. And that is so vastly different than what I do today. I'm a watercolor artist and I paint cute little kitty cats mostly. That's my biggest seller, my biggest attraction at art markets is my kitty cats. And I never in a million years would have thought, like, I would never have intentionally built that, if that makes sense. I wouldn't have gone to art school and said, well, it's time to build my kitty cat empire. And so what happens with this push through mindset is it often entails you walking towards a specific thing that you think you want, and that's what causes the friction. That's what causes you to feel like you have to push through. But if you're able to get a little bit more in tune with your intuition, a little bit more in tune with what feels light to you to pursue, you will no longer feel like you're pushing through. And I don't know if this resonates at all, but this is what was true for me. It could be true for you too, but I don't know. I don't know your situation. Everyone's life is very unique and different and wonderful. So that is just my personal take on this question. I might make a whole new video like where I can dive into this a little deeper, but I'm limited on time right now. So I wanted to get through this audit because this was a moment for me when I felt a little disappointed. I felt like I was going to get a different outcome than I got. And there was a day where I was just like, oh dang, I'm disappointed. I tried something and it didn't work out. Well, it's not that it didn't work out. I did get a handful of really great responses that honestly made me feel so good. But I had other data that would have led me to believe I would have gotten different results. And so today we're going to audit my last collection drop, and hopefully you'll be able to see for yourself essentially how to look at what you did right and what you did wrong, so that whenever you go and try it again, you have learned and you're from experience. One more thing I want to talk about with this push through mindset. I like to imagine your life like a video game, right? When you play a video game, you are generally having fun the entire time, right? You should be, even if you're yelling at your screen. But the joy in the game comes with conquering all these different challenges and obstacles, right? So you would never say, I just need to push through to get to the final boss. Oh, I just need to push through and get to the very end of the game. No, you typically enjoy the game thoroughly at every single step of the process, right? So it needs to be your goal to engineer your life where every single step of the process feels joyful for you. And a lot of that comes from not wanting to be anywhere else. A year ago, when I felt like I didn't have anything that I wanted in my art business, I felt like I just wanted it all to happen immediately. And every single sign that I saw that said, this isn't happening for you, I would go to an art market, $0 sale day. I'd be like, oh my gosh, nothing's happening for me. I just realized something one day, and I just decided to trust that there's something here in front of me that I just need to learn right now. I don't know what it is, and that means I need to keep my eyes open for it. Because if you just continue to focus on the end of what you want, for me, it can kind of blind you to the lessons that are in front of you right now that's keeping you where you're at. Like, there are things that you need to learn to navigate, the little bite-sized pieces that might feel boring or feel tedious, but they are what will essentially push you a little bit farther ahead. I might even be talking to myself right now because we're about to go into my audit and I'm like, dang. Maybe I'm talking to myself right now. Okay. I feel like there's one more thing I wanted to add. Oh yes, if you are feeling like this, there is a really good book, and it's a fiction book. It's not even like a non-fiction memoir-y kind of book, even though I love those too. But it's called The Good Part, and I'll put it up here on the screen because I can't remember the author right now. But I got this book for Christmas, like, I don't think I got it for Christmas. I think I got it around Christmas time, but I got it for myself. I got this book and it sat on my shelf for a good year or two, maybe even longer. And I remember I tried reading it, it didn't resonate, so I didn't finish. And when I quit my job to start my art business, and when I say quit my job, I use that term very loosely. I have an actual breakdown of what happened working-wise around the time I started building my art business, a link to a video linked here. But when I read this book, after quitting my job for my art business, it was just what I needed to hear. Like, the book is about this girl who has a dream of working in television. She wants to be like a film person, and she cannot get there. Like, she feels like everything in her life sucks and she cannot seem to get there. And so she makes, it's a very cheesy plot. She makes a wish and then suddenly she wakes up and she's in the life of her dreams. And so it's a really, really good book for creatives who want to skip this part of their life. Another interesting thing to me is you mentioned how you can find these kinds of answers in business or corporate spheres, but not in art spheres. And I think the reason for this is because whenever you're an artist, you're not only a business, it's a lifestyle. Like, it's easy to give up on a business model, it's easy to give up on a product, but you cannot ever give up on your way of life. So that's just what I'll leave you with today. If you feel like you need to give up on being an artist, you don't have to give up. Like, you can find a way to incorporate being an artist in your day-to-day. And if you are having this urge and this desire to monetize your art, I genuinely believe that this is made for you. Like, you just have to accept that for yourself too. I'll believe in us both. I'll believe in you enough for both of us, okay? That's just what I have to say. If you feel like you're pushing through and you don't know if you should quit or not, take a look at your surroundings and what can you do for yourself to make this more fun and playful? What can you do for yourself to cultivate a little bit more love and light in your life, even if the circumstances right now don't change? What can you do for your own happiness? Small little changes. Maybe it's like making sure that you eat well enough in the morning. Maybe it's going for a walk in the morning or going for a walk after, you know, like all those little things that you might be able to do, watching your favorite movie every now and then, like taking care of yourself, remembering to live now instead of trying to push through the now, if that makes sense. I'm curious to know, like, if this resonated at all or if I'm just talking, if I'm just yapping. Okay, let's hop into the audit. So this will be very helpful for you too if you are interested in doing online shop drops, because I did one and it didn't work out the way I expected it to. And so I have since done a little bit of research just to see what I can improve on and such. And this is going to be such an important skill for you, is when you attempt something, you have to get really good at saying what went right and what went wrong. You have to celebrate your wins, because there will be wins. There will be wins, and it can be easy to overlook those wins when you're focused on something else. So you have to celebrate your wins. You have to say, okay, this went right and I'm really proud of myself for this. Because when you're doing this alone, it's sort of like there's no one to cheer you on because it's you against the world, it feels like. So you have to learn to be your own cheerleader, you know? You really have to make this light and happy for yourself. And then you have to be good at objectively looking at what didn't go right and what can I do different next time without taking it personally and without making it about shame for yourself or guilt or anything like that. Like, just shake it off. Shake it off. Play's gonna play. Okay, anyway. Okay, so today we are talking launches, more specifically what to do when launches go wrong. So I launched my third ever painting collection last weekend. So let's have an honest discussion. When you are first starting out, it's really easy to think that quick success on social media is something that will also follow you. And if you're not seeing that quick success, then there must be something wrong with you. No, that's BS. That ain't true. The reality is things go wrong. And in turn, are you going to be the kind of person who handles things going wrong? That's a better question than should I just push through and quit? You should ask yourself, am I going to be the kind of person who can handle stuff when things go wrong? Because when things are not going right in your art business, there are things that you can do. And when you are looking at something going wrong, you either need to be able to pull from experience, you need to be able to creative problem solve, or you need to be able to find the answers and figure it out. Figuring it out can be Googling, looking up videos like this one. Google your problem and then you figure it out by DIYs on the internet. It can also be investing in education. So I know people hate this, but you know, courses exist. And I'm gonna make a video about this later, but I honestly right now feel like courses are a better solution for artists and creatives than art school is. So video on that coming soon. And I'll tell you later about how I'm troubleshooting some of this, but part of it involves investing in education for myself. So when things go wrong, it's tempting to say, oh, I didn't make the sales I wanted to make. I must have failed. This must mean failure for me. Or you can take it a step farther and you can even just say, well, no one wants to buy my art. I had a launch and I still have a bunch of art sitting here in my studio and I wanted to mail it off to new homes, but I guess this means I'll never be the artist that I wanted to be. That's how silly you sound. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing with you. But really, when you feel these critics in your head, it's your job to poke fun at them. It's your job to just make fun of them and treat them like a backseat driver who's like, turn left, and you're like, dude, we are driving to McDonald's right now. Do you want a milkshake or no? Okay, we just all jokes on this channel. I want to introduce to you the concept that even when you're seeing things that you would rather not be seeing, things that are, in your opinion, going wrong, this is actually very valuable feedback to what's in front of you right now, and you have control over the things that are in front of you right now. So in this case, my online shop drop didn't go the way that I expected it to, didn't go the way that I wanted, and I have control over the things in front of me that I can tweak and change and see what I can do to get a different result, because life in a lot of ways is like a video game. So if you're facing your final boss and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not able to beat this boss, help, I'm not a good video game player. Is that what you would say? Or would you say, oh, let me look up who beat this boss online and how they did it? Or would you say, let me look at my other fights and see what fighting combos I used that worked? This is the kind of thinking you need to inject into your art business, because sometimes we make our art business so deeply personal, and we make our failures so deeply personal too. And none of this is personal. This is business at this point, and you got to get that separation in check here, because if the state and the government sees you as two entities, you see yourself as two entities. This is how we're rolling. This is how we're doing it. So something that can be very helpful when doing little events, drops, things like this, is to define your metric of success. So what does success mean for you for this drop? Because if you just kind of throw it out there into the universe and you don't know what to expect from it, I think you'll find out then what failure or success meant to you. And it's important to choose something that's very small and very achievable, especially if this is one of your first times doing something like this. So for me, something small and achievable that I wanted to do was make a sale through someone that I did not personally know. Because for me, that would be an indicator that my shop is functioning correctly. Like, you don't have to know me personally. Like, my shop builds the trust. I didn't build the trust personally. So that was something that was important to me to do. So I launched this collection. I had 15% off site-wide for those 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, and here is everything I did to market it. I posted each individual painting on Instagram. I talked about it in my YouTube videos. I posted about it on YouTube with links to view the collection. I offered freebies like lock screens. If one of y'all grab those lock screens, I love y'all. Y'all are fun. We're in the cool kids club now. If you're not in the cool kids club, you can join the cool kids club. Link in the description is my email list. Cool Kids Club Plus is my Small Joys Club. The Small Joys Club! This video is sponsored by the Small Joys Club. The Small Joys Club is a really cool, cute thing. I mail you an art print and a letter once every single month to celebrate the small joys in life. So if you're someone that has a hard time looking at life with optimism, this is actually like a really perfect thing for you to kind of get in the practice of being able to look at life with optimism, happiness, and joy. Because the longer letter tier actually includes like journal prompts and exercises that you can do in your daily life to try to cultivate more joy. I really do think that you would like it. I sent out 2 emails to my email list, so that could have been better. Part 2 is to go through this and say, how can I improve this? So that's one way. I posted about it same day to my Instagram story. I posted a lot of polls throughout the month too to try to get people feeling like they were involved in the collection. So things like, which paintings are you most excited about? Are you more excited about my watercolors or oil paintings? And we'll talk about the oil paintings later. And then I also, for the first time in my life, tried Instagram and Facebook ads. And I don't know if I would do that again. Or if I do it again, I would do it differently. I got about 57 website visits through that ad and 0 purchases, so no. And then one more marketing thing that I do, and I don't know how this will come across, but I just had this idea and I said, heck, I want to try it. But on the opening day, I went through my Instagram, and everyone that commented on any of the artwork, I DM'd them a link to buy the art print. And then I said, hey, no pressure, no pressure to buy, but I just wanted to let you know and make sure that you have easy access to this link if it is something that you do want. It is 15% off today and tomorrow, so I just want to make sure you have that. I said something to that effect. My fiance, when I was doing this, said that it might not be a good idea because if he personally received that, he wouldn't like it. and he would find it too direct and too salesy. So I'm curious to know your opinions too, if you want to comment below if you would find this tactic a little too salesy, because my perspective was, if this is genuinely artwork that you love, and like if I was commenting on stuff, I would also want to know where to get it. Like I would want that easy access. I'm lazy. I want it to be easy. So that's what I did for marketing. And now let me tell you why I expected certain results and then they didn't happen, and why I think they didn't happen. So I was very, very excited about this launch because it's my first launch after monetizing my YouTube. And I have gotten a lot of really good responses from you guys about like, it felt like I was really starting to connect with people online in a way that I've never been able to before in my years of using Instagram. Like, I feel like I finally found a little pocket of the internet where I feel like I can be myself and where I feel like it's working, like this online marketing thing is working. And so that's why I was very, very optimistic, because since I've started my YouTube, I've gotten a lot more signups to my email list. I've gotten a lot more interest in my artwork. Like I've just felt a little bit of a buzz. I thought this was me giving my audience the perfect opportunity to collect some artwork. And I thought that I had a larger audience pool this time, a more engaged audience pool. Not only my YouTube though, my Small Joys Club had been steadily growing every single month, and some of these signups were happening without me actively reaching out and asking, because the primary way I would get people onto my Small Joys Club is I would post a poll to my story, I would have people vote on the artwork for the Small Joys Club, and then I would DM everyone who voted who wasn't in the club. And I'd say, hey, I noticed you're not in the club yet. Like, are you interested in joining? You would get your art print that you voted on. And half the time they would say yes. And so that was my main marketing tool for my Small Joys Club. And I was getting signups for it without me doing that for the first time. And so I thought like, oh, something must be working here with my online presence. It took me a long time to get there, but I felt like it was starting to finally happen. So I was excited to see what happened. And then the last thing that happened that made me very optimistic is my art was selling frequently and consistently at art markets. So I knew this was a validated product. This was not a case of, will people like this artwork? I knew that they liked it. Like, I knew that it sold, and particularly this new collection was outselling my previous at art markets. And so I was like, okay, people are gonna like this. I had gotten DMs from a couple people saying, hey, where can I get this? And I said, it drops on August 9th. I'll send you a link. And I sent them a link. And then crickets. Okay, not crickets. I got one awesome sale like immediately 30 minutes after it opened, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I was like, it's happening. And I'm so grateful for, it was my sister actually that collected an original painting and 2 art prints. I'm so excited. I'm mailing them out today. Oh my gosh, yes. And that's another thing. If you happen to be like someone watching that has collected from the collection, I don't want you to see this as Tazo jumping into my lap. I am over the moon happy and excited that you collected from me. Like I did a happy dance, I promise you. So I made that one sale 30 minutes into my drop, and then nothing the rest of the drop. And steadily as the day went on, I just felt a little bit, more sad. But I also just knew this is how it goes sometimes. So I knew I had to look at this with the lens of, something with my website may not be right. And then like very close to the end of the day, I had someone reach out to me over DMs on Instagram, and they asked if I had the original of this one art print still available. It wasn't listed in my site, but I did have it. So we talked and chatted over Instagram for a little bit until we got to like, okay, I'll frame it for you. You know, like we had a whole like little salesy chat, little friendly salesy chat. And that's whenever, you know, we close a sale, we got some artwork in the house. We love it. And one thing that I found very interesting in that conversation is Shelby, her name was, she's awesome. Listen, we're friends now. Anyone who collects artwork from me is like always my friend. Even if we just chat, I consider everyone in this world my friend. Okay. She had mentioned that she was wanting to reach out about this artwork for a long time. And what's funny is this collection is no longer available on my website. So it means that she had to have screenshotted it before that website went down, and I replaced it with my new one. And then she had to have kept that screenshot. So I find that so interesting. But she said she wanted to reach out about it, but she was a little bit like intimidated, a little bit anxious, because reaching out to strangers on the internet, you know, stranger danger. Stranger danger. So I had reached out to her a couple days prior because something related to the Small Joys Club, and I just happened to like chat a little bit. I'm like, so what's been your small joy this week? And we chatted for a little bit, and we became friends. And that's whenever she felt comfortable enough to ask. And so I find that to be a really keystone piece in all of this is I feel like I need to make it more obvious and to give more opportunity for people to feel like there's an open door with me, like, which for me feels strange because I feel like I am very warm and fuzzy. But I also know that the internet can be an intimidating place sometimes. So I always want to, I think I'm going to integrate that a little bit more in the future, is with trying to make sure I always feel like I have an open door for conversations and for just talking, because I never want people to feel like they can't approach me and ask anything, much less about my art. Please talk to me about my art. One oddly specific failure. This isn't really a failure, but one oddly specific thing that happened during this drop that I did not expect to happen is I got a number of unsubscribes from my email. I expected that. But I got an unsubscribe from someone I did not expect, because essentially, when you are building an audience, at least this is what I do, I look very closely at everyone in my audience. Everyone on my email list, I'm looking at you. I got my eyes on you. But essentially, I'm just kind of like, you know, you're trying to figure out your target audience. You want to learn more about the people who are collecting your art, right? For me, it's really important to me to know the homes that my art is going into. I also want to be able to find more homes for my art for some people who just want to watch for now, and that's totally fine, totally cool. Love that you guys are here. But I also want to be able to find homes for my art. You know, that's how it goes. So I'm always trying to reverse engineer the kinds of people that are already investing in me, their time and energy. And so there's this one person who's actually local to where I live, and they had reached out to me prior. We chatted a little bit over email. She had once emailed me back saying, "Oh my gosh, I love your art so much." And I had her in my mind, essentially, oh, this is where I was going. There are two groups. There's like the lookers and then the true fans. And so I'm always trying to identify those true fans. And so that way I can, you know, nurture them especially well. Like, I want to give them like little freebies every now and then if I can. I want to reach out, say, "Hey, how are you doing?" That kind of thing. So this person I had identified as a true fan, and she unsubscribed from my email newsletter. This is a call out post. But I was so shocked when that happened, because I'm having a pop-up, like a retail pop-up next month, and I was gonna personally invite her to it. I thought that she was gonna be a cool person to have in my audience, because she runs like a newsletter here in my city for like things to do in the city. So I thought that she was a really good connection to have, and I'm honestly like really confused why she unsubscribed. It could just be that she's like, "Oh, I don't want to buy anything and you're being too salesy," even though I only sent 2 emails about it. But some people are still like that. And then it also could be that my whole vibe is very like optimistic, like love life kind of vibe. And it's possible that she could be one of those people that when they see that kind of optimism, it turns them off. Some people are like that. Like, they'll see happiness, joy, and optimism, and they will just dislike it strongly. I've met a lot of people like that. Being the way that I am in my life, I've met so many people like this. And so maybe that's just her vibe. I have no clue, but it really confused me. Usually unsubscribes do not hurt. So if you're like on my email list and you unsubscribe, no hard feelings at all. I totally get it. But like this one, I was just really confused. So that's kind of like a recap of everything I did, what happened during the drop. And here is what I think may have gone wrong to contribute to these things happening. So I think that I had visibility because I talked about it a ton, but I did not really translate properly the value of my artwork. The 2 people that became collectors of the storybook collection, they are people that I had built relationships with in the past in some way or another. Like, we had kind of gotten to know each other even just a little bit, even just with one conversation prior to the sale going live. And I don't know if this is a precursor to all sales, or if this means there's something wrong with my website, that it just doesn't build enough trust, which I think could definitely be the case, because as we're going to talk about later, I invested in some educational content for myself to try to learn about online sales. And one of the things mentioned in this course is all about product imagery, and how product imagery and branding helps translate the trustability, like how they can trust your site, that you are a professional that cares deeply about your shop. Because you can imagine, essentially, whenever you are making sales with people, you can consider this like dating. And whenever you're swiping on the apps, you want to make sure, like, if you saw someone with one single profile photo, you're gonna say like, is this really who they say they are? Are they gonna show up and it's not gonna look like that? So in some of my product listings, I did have only one photo listed. So I'm gonna go through probably this weekend or next and try to really vamp up my product photo listings, at least for a good handful of them, maybe not all of them, because I don't have that time. I'm just kidding. I do have the time eventually. But I'm gonna start with the artwork that I think will be a bestseller if I do really make the product listings look desirable. So that's my main thing, is I needed to have done better with product photos and everything like that. And I think I could have done a better job with talking to people that may have been potential collectors, just as person to person with no sales talk involved. I think that could have been a place for me to go as well. I think I didn't do enough of like nurturing in my customer base, because I nurture a lot on YouTube because it's easy with that face-to-face conversation, right? But I don't mean this in any kind of way. I love y'all. I love y'all. But typically people who are consuming like art content, like how to make art or how to make art businessy stuff, you may not always be the type of people to collect art. And I say this with love. I say this with love. If you want to collect art, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. No, I'm just kidding, I'm kidding. I hope this is all taken in good fun. But essentially, I would need to find a way to get in front of audiences that they just want the end product, you know? That's just something that I need to think about, is how to do that. And that's something that I'm actually learning in this course that I invested in, because this is from a creator that I'd followed on YouTube for a very long time, and I always felt very good in watching her videos, because that's something that's very important, right? Is you want to make sure you're learning from someone that makes you feel good. There are certain creators here on YouTube, I'm not going to name names, that when I watch their videos, I do not feel good. I feel icky, I feel gross. I feel like they don't believe in me. And that's not the vibe. Something that I really liked about this creator that I got the course from, and it was just a cheap course, you know, it was $47, that's it. Like, I didn't get like the $2,000 version, I just wanted to get something to get me a little bit of groundwork with online sales to see how that might impact my business. So here I go into the wild unknown of online education. And I have invested in courses before too, but like for instance, I bought a licensing handbook before to kind of teach you how to do art licensing, and I've also invested in a long course. But essentially it teaches you how to build an online business and manage an online business. It's called the Digital Business Manager or something like that. But this is just to show you that I personally think it's a great idea to invest in education when you feel like it'll be good and well suited to you. There's a trap you can fall into with thinking that everyone other than you has the answers. And if you feel like this, it means you're going to be looking at every single course and not being able to decide which one you want, because you just think that anyone other than you has the answers. And that's just not how this works. You have answers. Like, you have to view these courses as a partnership, as someone to learn from and take into your own business, rather than like having this like hard dependency on like, I wish that was my life. I don't know how to describe it, and I'm reaching the end of my time here because I'm about to go to my my part-time job, and I can't go past the next 5 minutes, but I will leave you with this. When you are approaching something that feels like failure, I want you to ask yourself, will I let this be an anchor, or will this be a sale? And try to look at this objectively whenever you've had time to process. Like, you need a day or two to process your disappointment, right? When you try something, it doesn't work, you're disappointed. And that's very, very valid. Like, I took a day or two and I just sat there in my disappointment for a little bit. And I was just like, dang, I thought something different was gonna happen. And that's okay. And then after 2 days, you get back up and you're like, let's look at this. Let's see what happened, and let's make a plan going forward. And then you redirect your attention elsewhere. You say, I'm gonna put myself back into the work, and I'm gonna see how we're gonna work this through, because it's gotta work out somehow. Because like I mentioned, you really have to say, what is the life that I want? And am I taking steps that get me closer to that life? So choose the life you want, choose it, and then develop an environment, develop a system that keeps you happy along the way. If you found this video helpful, I really do want you to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe for Tazo. Meow. What? There he goes. But if you find this video helpful, please do like and subscribe. It tells the algorithm to push it out to more people, and I genuinely feel like the art community needs more like light and love around the creation process. There's just so many critics out there that will tell you that you don't know what you're doing, and that's the thing. You do know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. who am I to tell you what to do? But I hope on my channel I can at least show like what I'm doing. Like this is how I'm doing my life, you know, full transparency kind of thing, because there's not enough transparent conversations about like trying to get there. There's enough conversations about being there, but trying to get there, not enough. As always, spending any amount of time here on this channel with me is a gift. I really, really do consider it a gift, and for that, this humble artist says thank you. The sun is finally up after I'm done recording. It's a very cloudy day. It's very cloudy here, but it is what it is.